All right, guys, so the liberal mainstream media loves to talk about this concept of privilege, okay? And I've talked about the concept of privilege before, in which I said that everybody who is an American, regardless of your race, is privileged because you have been born in America. You've been born in the greatest country ever, right? In a time in which, we have technology, in which, you can eat like a king, even if you're poor, because the government will basically pay for you to do that, right? Even the poorest of the poor in America are pretty blessed compared to historical standards, or even standards of third world or even developing nations, okay? But, a lot of people on the left don't realize that, and instead they want to focus on the concept of privilege within a privileged society, right? Who's the most privileged within an already privileged society? Okay, and they focus on this concept of white privilege, right? Privilege based off race. And I've told you guys that this is a farce. Okay, it's a farce. It's a trick. Okay, to distract from the real privilege, which is privilege based off of wealth. Okay, as you guys saw with the Bill Cosby situation, if you have money, status, fame, you can buy yourself out of any situation. Okay, that for the most part. And this seems to be the case with what's happening with Richard Sherman, as he was arrested for trying to break into the home of his in-laws. And the video that I'm about to show you guys is somewhat scary and disturbing to a certain extent, to see the anger coming from Richard Sherman, who is an NFL football player. And I want to really talk about this because I think this highlights something that the media won't highlight about who's actually the most privileged in society. Take a look.
Come through. Come through. Come through, Ray. Come through. Come through.
All right, guys, so first things first, I have to state the obvious. That was a nice looking American flag in the background, right? Whoever has that house, Richard Sherman's in-laws, that's a nice looking flag, I must say. So after all of that, right, after seeing that, there's much more to the story that I'm getting into. Now, he was arrested, okay? And I just want you guys to know up front that the judge ordered Richard Sherman to be released from jail without bail with several conditions, okay? So this guy, okay, is getting out of jail without bail. Let's read it exactly what happened here, okay? A judge ordered free agent cornerback Richard Sherman to be released from jail without bail Thursday following his arrest on suspicion of trying to break into his in-laws' home northeast of Seattle. King County District Judge for Masaniai found probable cause that Sherman committed 4 offenses: misdemeanor and gross misdemeanor charges of criminal trespass in the second degree, malicious mischief in the third degree, both carrying domestic violence designations, and misdemeanor charges of resisting arrest and driving under the influence. So let's get this straight here, guys. So he has probable cause of committing 4 offenses: trespassing, malicious mischief, resisting arrest, and driving under the influence. I just want you guys to understand, right, this situation. Prosecutors did not ask the judge for a finding on a felony residential burglary allegation for which he was initially booked. They have not yet filed charges, but a charging decision is expected as soon as Friday, according to a spokesperson with the King County Prosecuting Attorney Office. Masaniai declined to set $10,000 bail as prosecutors requested. The judge called Sherman, who did not attend the hearing, a pillar of the community and noted that it was presumed he would be released because this was his first arrest. He ordered that Sherman, 33, not have contact with his father-in-law, that he not use alcohol or non-prescription drugs, and that he not possess a weapon. Okay, so the judge basically says, no, we're not going to set a $10,000 bail, right, like the prosecutors requested, because Richard Sherman is a pillar of the community. He's a good guy, even though he was arrested because he was trying to break and enter into his father-in-law's home, and he also was driving under the influence, along with other offenses that were alleged. Okay, and again, this is just not the end of it here. Sherman's next hearing is set for 2 p.m. on Friday. He does not have to be present for the hearing and can be represented by his attorney. Quote, I love and support my husband, Sherman's wife, Ashley Sherman, said in a statement after the hearing. I'm committed to helping Richard get the support and care he needs. Richard has always been a loving father and husband, and we are looking forward to seeing him at home with his family. At Thursday's hearing, Sherman's attorney, Cooper Offenbecher, did not contest the probable cause existed for the arrest, but he said Sherman should be released without bail, noting his good work in the community, including founding the Blanket Coverage Foundation, a charity that provides low-income students with school supplies and clothes. Richard Sherman is among the best in our community, Offenbecher said. He is a good person and a good soul. He is taking these allegations very seriously. Sherman was belligerent. He had been drinking heavily and had spoken of killing himself when he left his home in the Seattle suburb of Maple Valley late Tuesday, according to police reports. His wife called 911 to try to have the police stop him. He was arrested early Wednesday after police said he crashed his car in a construction zone along a busy highway east of Seattle and tried to break into his in-laws' home in the suburb of Redmond. Okay, guys, so he was so drunk that he crashed his car in the construction zone, which he could have killed himself. He could have killed somebody else. Again, and on top of that, tried to break into his in-laws' home. Okay, but let's keep going here. Let's keep going. I'm getting somewhere here, guys. His father-in-law, Raymond Moss, told officers that he armed himself with a handgun and pepper spray at the NFL cornerback to protect his family as Sherman tried to bust in the door with his shoulder. Quote, the family began to yell in fear. Moss told police, I used pepper spray on Sherman's face through the partially open door as he was still banging and attempted to gain entry. I told him to stop. I armed myself with my handgun at this time, fearing for my safety of myself and my family. Officers were cautious about arresting Sherman because of his size, strength, and belligerence, according to police reports released Thursday. Sherman displayed severe mood swings and slurred speech, had bloodshot, watery eyes, and had the odor of intoxicants emitting from his person. During contact with authorities at his in-laws' residence, according to reports, Sherman told authorities that he was upset over his children being taken away from him, the reports said. When told that he was being placed under arrest and directed to kneel down so that he could be handcuffed, the police report said Sherman ignored these commands and became more hostile and belligerent and stated multiple times that he would not be arrested or go in handcuffs. So this man was resisting arrest, okay? Resisting arrest. And he made it out alive? A black man with dreads was resisting arrest and made it out alive, right? I wonder if the mainstream media is going to highlight that, right? A large black man who police said, this dude is strong. He's an NFL football player. We have to be careful about how we try to go about handling this guy, okay? You would think they would want to use more force. You would think that they will be trigger happy, right? Considering the situation he's in. Dude just crashed his car, tried to break his in-laws' house, said, I'm not getting arrested. And he's black with dreadlocks, right? You would think that this situation would require an escalation of use of force. But let's read a little bit more here. Officers could not use a taser because they worried about igniting whatever chemical Sherman's father-in-law had sprayed him with, and could not fire a beanbag round because they were too close to him, according to police reports. Instead, they released a police dog which bit his ankle and caused a minor cut as other officers rescued him on the ground, the report said. Wait. So the officers were so cognizant of Richard Sherman, right, and his condition, that they decided not to even taser him because they didn't want to set the man on fire or to even fire beanbag rounds at him. They decided to use a dog to take him down. Okay? But according to the mainstream media, this never happens to the black man, right? This guy is resisting arrest, drunk driving. He crashed a car, tried to break into his in-laws' home. He's released from jail with no bail, okay? Released from jail. And when the police tried to arrest the dude, they used extra precaution. But again, according to the mainstream media, this never happens to a black man, especially with a black man with dreads, by the way, okay? Like, I mean, guys, you want to talk about privilege. This right here is privilege. And this is what I try to tell you guys about this whole privilege narrative. Like, the elite of our society, guys, they want to divide us based off race. But it's not about race, okay? That's not what the conflict is at here, okay? The conflict is not among races. It's not the problem. Where the real privilege is those who are like Richard Sherman are a part of the elite, who have a lot of money, wealth, and power and fame, whom are being treated with kid gloves in a situation like this in which, you know, who knows? Somebody else may not have been treated the same way, right? Now, this ain't black privilege, because black privilege is when you like Mark Lamont Hill and you can just say overtly racist things, right, without anybody ever calling you a racist. That's not what this is. This is wealth privilege. That's what it is. And there's no doubt in my mind that played a part in it. Now, do officers 99% of the time probably do this when it comes to suspects who are black? Yes, right? But that's not, again, what the mainstream media wants to tell you. This probably is what happens most of the time when officers are dealing with suspects of any color, really, to be quite honest with you. They probably do take these type of precautions. Sometimes, yes, you have trigger-happy cops. Sometimes, yes, you have cops that are going to just, you know, use more lethal force. It's the law of numbers, man. It is what it is. But like I said, in this situation right here, it seems to me that Richard Sherman is experiencing some privilege that has nothing to do with his race. Again, despite the mainstream media's narrative of them telling you that police officers just beat up and hunt down and kill black men. It's not what happened to Richard Sherman. Sherman's mood seemed to lighten once he was in custody, and even joked about the form the trooper had used to take him to the ground, according to the police reports. Sherman was polite and cooperative at the hospital where he was taken to be treated for a canine bite he suffered during the altercation with the authorities. Report said dude was even taken to the hospital, right? He was even taken to the hospital to get treatment, okay? Whew. They treat him mighty well. In February, King County prosecutors and sheriff obtained an extreme risk protection order for Sherman, which barred him from having guns after a judge determined he posed a danger to himself and others. Details of the case were sealed, and it is not immediately clear if any weapons had been seized from him. Ashley Sherman told police her husband had been on antidepressants and was receiving mental health counseling. Okay, so yeah, Richard Sherman definitely needs help, right? And I don't know exactly what's going on with him, whether or not he's having mental issues, and or whether or not he was just angry about his kids. Obviously, he was drunk, he was under the influence, and that could be a soft spot for him, right? Like, you know, one thing I don't like about our society and our judicial system is how they favor women when it comes to child custody. Now, I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I just don't like the idea of taking a man's kids away from him. Right. So I don't know the details around all of that. And Richard Sherman's wife seemed to be pretty supportive of him. So that may not necessarily be it. But, you know, I can definitely see why a man would be upset about his kids. But it seems like he's having some deeper mental issues that really goes to show that, you know, even if you have money, wealth, power, and fame, you can still have mental issues. You can still have problems. And that money doesn't necessarily solve everything, right? But it seems to solve the whole racism problem, right? But it may not solve other mental issues that people may be experiencing. And I hope the man gets some help, right? I really do hope he gets some help. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.